Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, warriors of life, today I want to talk about something we all carry deep inside of us. The weak version of ourselves. That part of us that makes excuses, that chooses comfort over growth, that whispers, not today, maybe tomorrow. But let me tell you, tomorrow never comes for the weak version of you. If you keep feeding that version, running through the park, if you keep listening to its lies, you will never step into the greatness that was meant for you. We are all born with two versions of ourselves, the weak one and the strong one. The weak one survives, but the strong one lives. The weak one complains, but the strong one creates. The weak one gives up, but the strong one pushes forward no matter what. And here's the truth. The weak version of you doesn't die on its own. You have to kill it. You have to choke it out with discipline. You have to starve it with hard work. You have to bury it under the weight of consistency, because until you kill it, it will keep killing your dreams. So today, I challenge you, running through the park, kill that weak version of yourself. And here's how you do it. Before you can kill the weak version of yourself, you have to know where it lives. Weakness doesn't always shout, it whispers. It hides in the small daily choices you make without even realizing it. It's in the way you hit the snooze button instead of waking up with purpose. It's in the way you tell yourself, I'll start tomorrow, when you know very well tomorrow never comes. It's in the way you procrastinate on your goals, binge on distractions, or give up at the first sign of difficulty. Weak version of you survives because you've allowed it to stay invisible. You haven't put a spotlight on it. Think about this. You cannot fight an enemy you refuse to see. You cannot kill a weakness you refuse to admit exists. That's why the first step is brutal honesty with yourself. Sit down with a notebook and write down your weak patterns. Where do you keep sabotaging yourself? Where do you keep giving in? Is it your health, your discipline, your work ethic, your relationships? Maybe you're always chasing comfort. Maybe you're always making excuses. Maybe you're always waiting for the perfect time to act. Expose it. Don't sugarcoat it. Don't justify it. Don't dress it up with pretty excuses like, I'm tired, I deserve a break, or it's not the right moment. Weakness thrives in excuses. It wants you to rationalize it so it can keep living inside you. Once you've identified those patterns, you strip the weak version of its power. Because now it's not hidden, it's visible, and what's visible can be destroyed. This step may feel uncomfortable, even painful, because you come face to face with the version of yourself you don't like. But that's exactly the point. You cannot transform into your strongest self until you've confronted your weakest self. So I challenge you, take inventory of your life today. Call out the weak habits. Recognize the weak mindset. Shine light on the areas you've been avoiding. Because the moment you identify your weak patterns is the moment you pick up the sword to kill that weak version of yourself. Excuses are the language of the weak version of yourself. They sound convincing, they feel comforting, and they give you temporary relief. But in the long run, they destroy your potential. Every time you make an excuse, you are not just delaying action, you are feeding the weak version of you. You're giving it oxygen, and as long as excuses exist, cannot thrive. Think about how many times you've said things like, I don't have time. I'll do it tomorrow. I'm too tired. I'll start when things calm down. Do you realize what's happening when you speak those words? You are choosing to betray your own future. You are choosing to protect your weakness instead of building your strength. Excuses are chains. They keep you tied to mediocrity. Here's the truth. No excuse has ever built a great life. No excuse has ever written a book, built a business, shaped a strong body, or created a legacy. Action builds. Excuses destroy. The strong version of you understands this, running through the park. You don't need to feel ready, you don't need the perfect conditions, you don't need motivation. You just need to take the first step. Action kills excuses because action produces momentum and momentum creates results. Even the smallest step forward is infinitely more powerful than the most well-crafted excuse. When the weak voice whispers, "I can't," train yourself to respond with, "Watch me." When it says, "Not today," you say, "Today is the only day I have." When it says, "What if I fail?" you respond, "What if I never try?" Here's a strategy. The next time you catch yourself making an excuse, stop and replace it instantly with an action. Even if it's a small one. If you say, "I don't have time to work out," drop down and do 20 push-ups right there. If you say, "I'll start writing tomorrow," open your notes and write one sentence now. If you say, "I'm too tired," remind yourself that tired discipline builds stronger muscles than rested excuses ever will. Action is the antidote to weakness. Excuses are easy, action is hard. That's why action is where transformation lives. Every act of action, no matter how small, is another blow to the weak version of yourself. And the more blows you land, the weaker it becomes. So stop asking for permission. Stop waiting for the right time. Stop rehearsing excuses in your mind. Trade them for action. Trade them for movement. Trade them for decisions that align with your future. Because one day, you will look back and realize your life wasn't defined by what you intended to do. It was defined by what you actually did. Kill excuses. Take action. That is how you silence the weak version of yourself once and for all. The weak version of you runs from discomfort, craves the soft pillow, the easy choice, the quick fix, the shortcut. It whispers, "Why struggle when you can relax? Why push when you can coast?" But here's the harsh truth. Comfort is the enemy of growth. Every time you choose comfort over discomfort, you are feeding weakness and starving strength. Think about it. Have you ever grown stronger when life was easy? Have you ever built discipline when everything went your way? Have you ever developed character sitting in comfort, avoiding challenge? Of course not. Growth only comes when you're uncomfortable. The fire of discomfort burns away weakness and forges strength. Look at nature. A diamond is formed under pressure. Muscles are built through tension and resistance. Trees grow deeper roots when storms shake them. Without discomfort, there is no strength. Without struggle, there is no progress. But here's the twist most people miss. Discomfort is not your enemy, it is your teacher. It teaches you resilience, it teaches you discipline. It teaches you what you are truly capable of. Running through the park. Every time you choose discomfort, you are training your mind to be stronger than your emotions and your body to be stronger than your excuses. Take the cold shower instead of the warm one. Wake up at 5 a.m. instead of hitting snooze. Do the extra set when your muscles are screaming. Have that difficult conversation instead of running from it. Each act of choosing discomfort is like sharpening a sword. You are making yourself unbreakable. The weak version of you avoids discomfort because it wants to survive. The strong version of you embraces discomfort because it wants to live. The weak version says, "This is too hard." The strong version says, "This is how I grow." Here's what you must understand. Pain of discipline is temporary, but the pain of regret lasts forever. 10 minutes of discomfort in the gym beats 10 years of wishing you had taken care of your health. 1 hour of focused work beats a lifetime of wondering why your dreams never came true. So, instead of asking, "How can I make this easier?" start asking, "How can I make myself tougher?" Instead of praying for comfort, pray for strength. Instead of running from discomfort, walk straight into it. Because that is where your stronger self is waiting. When you stop fearing discomfort and start respecting it, you will unlock a version of yourself you didn't even know existed. Weak version of you dies the moment you stop avoiding pain and start learning from it. So embrace discomfort, not as punishment, as preparation. Not as suffering, but as sharpening. Because the more you step into discomfort, the less power weakness will ever have over you. Motivation is a spark. Discipline is the fire. Motivation is fragile. It comes and goes like the wind. One day you feel unstoppable. The next day you don't even want to get out of bed. Motivation can inspire you to start, but it cannot sustain you. If you build your life on motivation, you will fail the moment it disappears. But if you build your life on discipline, nothing, not tiredness, not mood swings, not setbacks, can stop you. The weak version of you lives off motivation. It waits until it feels like it. It says things like, I'll work when I'm inspired. I'll train when I'm in the mood. I'll start when I feel ready. But the truth is, you'll never always feel ready. You'll never always be in the mood. If you wait for motivation, you will wait forever. The strong version of you, however, is powered by discipline. Running through discipline means you do it regardless of how you feel. Discipline means you show up whether you're excited or exhausted, whether it's convenient or uncomfortable, whether the world cheers you on or ignores your effort. Think of an athlete. They don't train only when they feel like it. They train every single day because discipline builds consistency, and consistency creates greatness. Think of a writer. They don't wait for inspiration to strike. They sit down and write daily, and inspiration finds them working. Of soldiers. They don't rely on motivation to serve. They rely on discipline to follow through, even in the harshest conditions. This is how you kill the weak version of yourself, by replacing feelings with commitments. Stop asking yourself, do I feel like doing this? And start telling yourself, this is what I do. Period. Here's the reality. Motivation makes you start, discipline makes you finish. Motivation is about emotion, discipline is about decision. One is temporary, the other is permanent. Discipline also creates freedom. It sounds like a paradox, but it's true. When you are disciplined with your habits, your health, your work, your money, you earn the freedom to live life on your terms. Weak version of you avoids discipline because it wants freedom now, but in doing so, it becomes a prisoner of regret later. The strong version of you embraces discipline today, and as a result, lives free tomorrow. And let's be clear, discipline is not built overnight. It's built choice by choice, moment by moment. Every time you show up when you don't feel like it, running through the park, you're strengthening the strong version of you. Every time you honor your commitment instead of your comfort, you're burying the weak version deeper in the ground. So, stop chasing motivation. Stop waiting for the perfect mood, relying on temporary sparks to fuel your life. Build the fire of discipline instead. Show up every day, no matter what. Let consistency become your identity. Because when discipline becomes who you are, weakness no longer has a place to live. The people you surround yourself with are either feeding your strength or feeding your weakness. They are either pulling you up or dragging you down. Weak version of you thrives when it is surrounded by weak company. People who complain, people who settle, people who gossip, people who choose comfort over growth. And here's the scary part, stay around them long enough and you become them. Energy is contagious. Habits are contagious. Mindsets are contagious. If you spend every day around people who make excuses, you'll start making excuses. If you surround yourself with people who quit when things get hard, you'll start quitting too. Weakness multiplies in groups. It loves company. That's why they say, show me your friends, and I'll show you your future. But strength is also contagious. When you surround yourself with strong people, people who push themselves, people who set high standards, people who refuse to settle. You rise to meet their level. They make you uncomfortable in the best way, because they remind you of your potential. They challenge you to raise your game. They hold you accountable to the person you claim you want to be. Think about it. If you're in a room where you're the smartest, strongest, or most disciplined person, you're in the wrong room. The strong version of you seeks out environments where you're forced to grow, where people's work ethic embarrasses your excuses, where their consistency exposes your inconsistency, where their strength forces you to step up or step out. This doesn't mean you cut off everyone who's struggling. No. But it does mean you guard your inner circle with intensity. You can love people, you can support people, you can uplift people, but you must not allow constant weakness, negativity, or excuses to become the soundtrack of your daily life. Because your environment is stronger than your willpower. If you try to kill the weak version of yourself, but keep surrounding yourself with weak people, your fight will never end. Surrounding yourself with strength also means seeking mentors, coaches, and role models who have already defeated the weak version of themselves. Learn from them, study their habits, listen to their words, watch their actions, let their discipline become your standard. And remember this, you don't just absorb strength, you give it too. When you push yourself, when you stay disciplined, when you show up consistently, you become the strong one in someone else's circle. You inspire them to rise higher. It doesn't just change you, it changes everyone connected to you. So, be intentional about your environment. Cut the ties with constant negativity. Spend less time with those who drain you and more time with those who fuel you. Seek people who make you uncomfortable in the best way, because that discomfort is your growth. The weak version of you cannot survive in a strong environment. It suffocates. It loses its grip. And that's exactly how you kill it. By surrounding yourself with strength every single day. Before you can become the strongest version of yourself, you must first see it. Weak version of you survives because you keep looking at your limitations, your failures, and your excuses. You keep replaying the story of who you were instead of creating the vision of who you can become. That's why visualization is so powerful. It shifts your focus from weakness to strength, from the past to the future, from excuses to possibility. Close your eyes and picture it right now, the stronger you, the disciplined you, the courageous you, the healthy, focused, relentless version of yourself. What do they look like? How do they walk? How do they speak? How do they treat people? How do they spend their mornings, their days, their nights? Visualization is not daydreaming, it's programming. When you create a clear image of your stronger self, you give your mind a blueprint. And here's the truth. Your brain doesn't know the difference between imagination and reality. If you constantly picture yourself weak, tired, and defeated, you'll live that out. But if you consistently picture yourself strong, disciplined, and powerful, your mind will begin aligning your actions with that image. This is why top athletes, soldiers, leaders, and entrepreneurs all use visualization. Champions sees themselves winning long before they step on the field. A fighter pictures their victory before they ever enter the ring. They don't just hope for greatness. They see it, and because they see it, they move toward it. The weak version of you thrives in vagueness. It doesn't want you to have a vision, because without a vision, you wander. Without a vision, you drift. Without a vision, you go wherever life pushes you. But the strong version of you is crystal clear. It knows where it's going, and that clarity fuels action. So here's what you do every morning. Take a few minutes to visualize your stronger self. See yourself waking up early, pushing through a tough workout, making disciplined choices, facing fears with courage, working on your goals with focus. Feel the pride, the confidence, the energy of that version of you sink in so deeply that when you open your eyes, your body naturally wants to follow what your mind has already seen. Then, throughout the day, measure your actions against that vision. Ask yourself, does this decision feed my strong self or my weak self? Every choice either pulls you closer to that vision or drags you back into weakness. If you keep the vision clear, the choice becomes simple. Remember this, the weak version of you is blind. It only sees obstacles, fear, comfort zones. The strong version of you has vision. It sees possibility, growth, and victory. If you want to kill the weak version of yourself, you must stop seeing yourself as you are and start seeing yourself as you are meant to be. Because once you see your stronger self clearly enough, weaker you won't stand a chance. The weak version of you is like a shadow. It follows you everywhere unless you cut off its lifeline. Many people try to become stronger while still keeping their old habits, their old excuses, their old comfort zones within reach. They say, I want to change. But they secretly leave the back door open so they can run back to their old ways whenever it gets hard. And that's why they never fully transform. If you truly want to kill the weak version of yourself, you cannot give it a hiding place. You must burn the bridge to your old self. Think about this. When ancient warriors sailed to conquer new lands, sometimes they would burn their ships once they arrived. Why? Because with no way back, there was only one choice: fight and win. Retreat was not an option. That's how you have to approach personal growth. If you leave the bridge standing, you'll always cross back to weakness when life gets uncomfortable. But when you burn it, the only path is forward. Burning the bridge means cutting ties with habits that sabotage you. It means deleting the apps that waste your time. It means throwing away the junk food that feeds your laziness. It means removing yourself from toxic environments that keep you small. It means breaking cycles of procrastination, distraction, and excuses once and for all. Burning the bridge also means making a public commitment to yourself. Tell the world, or at least tell the mirror, that old me is dead. I'm not going back. Speak it so boldly that there's no way to hide if you fail to act. The weak version of you thrives in secrecy, in silence, in shadows. But once you declare war on it, once you expose it, you force yourself to rise. Yes, it will be uncomfortable. Yes, it will feel scary. Yes, you'll doubt yourself. But remember, weakness survives in the safety net. Strength is born when there is no net, no backup plan, no escape route. The strong version of you is waiting on the other side of that burning bridge. You will never meet it until you watch your old self go up in flames. The excuses, the laziness, endless waiting for the right time. Let it burn. And once you do, you'll feel something incredible: freedom. Not the fake freedom of giving in to every impulse, but the real freedom of knowing you've cut off everything that once held you back. You'll be unstoppable because there will be no retreat, no surrender, no way back to the weak you. So make the decision today. Don't just step away from your old self. Destroy the path that leads back to it. Burn the bridge. Kill the weak version and walk forward into the life that only the strongest version of you can live. At the end of the day, you are fighting the greatest battle there is. The battle between the weak version of yourself and the strong version of yourself. Every morning when you wake up, both versions rise with you. One whispers for comfort, excuses, and delay. The other calls you to discipline and greatness. And here's the truth: whichever version you feed is the one that wins. You've seen the patterns. You know the excuses. You've faced the discomfort. You've learned the power of discipline. You've understood the importance of your environment. You've visualized the stronger you. And now, you must burn the bridge to your old self. This is not a someday decision. This is not a next week choice. This is not something you postpone until life feels easier. This is today's battle. Right now, right here. Because every day you delay, the weak version of you grows stronger. Every day you hesitate, it steals more of your future. But every day you fight, every day you act, every day you kill weakness, you step closer to the life you were born to live. So I leave you with this. Don't just fight the weak version of yourself, end it. Kill it with consistency. Kill it with courage. Kill it with commitment. And once it's dead, never go back. Because the world doesn't need your weak self. The world needs your strongest self. The disciplined, relentless, unstoppable warrior that was always inside you. So rise up, burn the excuses, embrace the discomfort, live with discipline, surround yourself with strength, see the stronger you, and never look back. Kill that weak version of yourself and step boldly into the life that only your strongest self can claim.